Hello and welcome to the Learning Exchange UCC 98.3 FM. I'm Amar Sohail, your host for the afternoon. With me is David Kiley and Jonathan Sultan. Hey guys.
Hello.
Hi.
This is the place to get all your gaming news, reviews and more. What you heard just there was obviously the king himself with Jailhouse Rock. Enjoyable, to say the least. So guys, we have a lot of stuff to get through today. We have a couple of reviews. Johnny's been playing Unfinished Swan, and me and David have been playing Dishonored. So we're going to do a Johnny's review first on the Unfinished Swan. PSN title, I believe, only.
PSN exclusive, yeah. Well, at the minute, for this week anyway, it's actually PS Plus exclusive, and it'll be coming to the normal store for the peasants next Wednesday.
Is it being released on the Kaspla at all?
The what?
The Kaspla, Xbox Live Arcade.
Oh, okay. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, the Kaspla.
No, it's exclusive to the PlayStation. It's the developers Giant Sparrows, their very first game, and they have their style of game is very similar to the stuff like Flower and Journey from that game company, and they actually have the exact same deal. They're housed internally at Santa Monica Studios. They have a 3-game deal, so the next 2 games are going to be PlayStation exclusives as well. And I'm just going to start off this by saying this is not a game for everyone. Like, it's really like a game as art kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I really liked it. So pros, first of all, the graphics look, I just really like the art it's not even graphics so much as art style. It's really cool. It's got a nice story. The mechanics are really cool. Like, first thing, there's a little intro, like a kind of a storybook narrated by some woman, and then you get dropped right in. All you can see is like your little circle for a reticule, and everything else is white, and then you start pressing all the buttons, figuring out what to do, and you figure out, you throw little black balls of paint that reveal the world, because you literally can't see everything. You don't know if you're inside or outside or anything. One thing I discovered about myself is I hate not knowing how big the room I'm in is. So like, even if I knew where I needed to go next, I'd always go around the edge of the room with just splattering black paint everywhere, just so I knew how big the room was, even though I didn't need to know. But I just hated not knowing. Also, there's collectible balloons around the place, so you have to like hit a balloon with your paintball, and then use them to unlock like little extras. And getting those balloons, I literally killed myself sometimes getting balloons, because I'm that kind of guy.
I think that's like the first time that's ever been said.
Probably not. Someone's probably died trying to get a balloon.
There's balloons in Arkham City. Might have died trying to get those.
Yeah, there are. Yeah, I remember I got some of them. Yeah, but it's a really short game, but I really like it. This is a really nice game. Some people probably won't think it's worth €13, but I mean, it took me 3 hours to beat, maybe.
That's a pretty quick game.
Yeah, but like, I'm probably going to go back and try and get all the balloons.
Okay.
And also there's a gold trophy for getting through the first, like, there's 4 chapters split up into parts, and the first part of the game you get a gold trophy for getting through the whole first part, throwing a maximum of 3 paintballs.
Wow.
I'm probably going to try and do that, and then after my 20th go, I'm going to get fed up and, like, I was going to say throw away the game, but it's a digital game. So I don't know what I'd do. Delete it, maybe.
Destroy the internet. Simple.
No,
that sounds like a Bond villain scheme, you know?
Quantum of Solace, probably.
If they were still if Sean Connery was still James Bond, there would be a scheme at this stage to destroy the internet.
Anyway, stop interrupting my review. I never interrupt your reviews.
Yeah, you do.
Also the game has really nice music, and Terry Gilliam from Monty Python voices one of the like 3 characters. Yeah, so the first part of the game, you're throwing black paint on pure white. Then the second part of the game, you're in a city that's just purely like white, and you can see shadows as well, so you can see the outline of stuff. And then you start throwing water, and then you see, if I went through all the mechanics, I'd probably ruin, because it's such a short game, I'd like ruin half the game. But it actually does change it up like a fair bit.
It's really hard to explain this game without video, I think.
And without ruining it. Because like the whole third part of the game, I had no idea that mechanic existed. So it was a really nice surprise. Also, there was like considering like how little there is in the game, I was kind of surprised there was a bit of minor slowdown. But it was because like for a bit of the game, you're making vines grow. And when you make loads of vines grow, Like whenever your view goes past the vines, it like slows down because there's so much stuff trying to render. But like it doesn't take away from the game at all. Also, there's other bits where there's one room where there's kind of like portals, and when you're like looking through a portal and it's like trying to display the room twice from different angles, it kind of slows it down a bit. But I mean, all in all, I love this game. I think it's really cool. I downloaded especially to review it on the show today, just so everyone can get the review a week before it even comes out.
It's more of a kind of games or art review, not kind of the one where there's at least 4 gallons of blood on screen at all times.
No, there's so little in this game, but it's just a really fun game.
It's one of those instances where less is more.
Yeah. Also, there's a little, not even like an Easter egg, because I'd say about 90% of the people who play the game will see it. But there's a little like nod to Journey.
Oh yeah.
In the game, which I thought was pretty cool.
Journey, of course, is the game made by
That game company.
They also made Flower, and you reviewed that last year and you said it was one of the best games you played all year.
It's really good.
Yeah, €8 I think on PSN.
Journey.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's probably around 10.
Yeah. So like, guys,
I probably like Journey a bit more than this, but like this is their very first game.
Well,
like straight out of college. This is their first
straight
game.
out of college.
Yeah. So I mean, it's really good.
That really puts stuff in perspective for you, doesn't it?
Yeah. Hey, we have a radio show. They don't have a radio show.
No, they just have like a multi-million. I want to say multi-million because I don't know how many copies it sold out.
Well, last time I saw it had 60 ratings on the store, so you can probably assume it's got like 3 times as many downloads. I don't know, but like it's only PS Plus at the minute. But I'd say once it goes on the proper store, it'll sell quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the only way like I could recommend this to people is if you like Flower and Journey, you're probably gonna like this game. But definitely before you get it, look at least one video, because
it's not for everyone.
And it's really hard to describe how cool it looks without actually seeing it, because some of the bits in this game, like we walk around and go like, oh, that's really cool, just looking at stuff, not even touching the controller.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got a nice flow of the story. It's not too long, it's not too short. It's cool.
That's good. And it's their first game, and I hope we see more from them soon.
Oh, well, not soon, but they have a deal where they've got 2 more games exclusively for Sony.
That game company had something like that as well.
It's the exact same deal.
It's the exact same deal.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, a lot of people often argue whether games are art, and I think it's games like these that do define games as art.
Yeah, this one's definitely art.
Yeah, so
it's got my seal of approval.
Got your seal of approval.
They're going to put that on the description on the store. Johnny liked this game.
You don't think much of yourself, do you?
No, I mean, I'm pretty humble. I'm a pretty humble guy. I'm so good at being humble. Did you get it? It's a joke.
Yeah, it's a pretty terrible joke.
It's pretty bad, Johnny.
Why are we both laughing then?
Because we're laughing at how bad it is.
Okay, carry on.
Alright, guys, we're going to get a really quick break, and when we come back, me and David are going to talk about whether Dishonored lived up to the hype or whether we were disappointed with it. And we have some interesting things to say about it. So this is Hello by Martin Solveig. We'll be back real quick. Enjoy. BFM, I'm Amar Sohail, and with me, as always, are David Kiley.
Yep.
And Jonathan Sultan.
What? I didn't realize I was here.
So, this is the place to get all your gaming news, reviews, and all the other bits and bobs that you enjoy so much. So, me and David have been playing a game that we'd both been looking forward to for a while. You
know what's funny? While you've been playing this new game that everyone's giving rave reviews to, I've been playing a 2009 remake of a 2005 game. That's what I've been doing. God of War HD collection, by the way. It's good. Everyone should buy it. A quickie review of the 2009 God of War HD collection.
You should buy it. That's going on the box too, isn't it?
Yeah.
You should buy it.
You should buy it. Johnny, 2012. Anyway, go on.
We've been playing Dishonored. It's developed by Arkane Studios, published by Bethesda. And
one thing I just want to say, I'm really annoyed by everyone saying, "Oh, Bethesda made such a good game." They didn't make it.
No,
if they made it, there would be way more bugs.
Yeah, Bethesda
published it.
Bethesda, they basically gave the money for for the hardware to be produced, essentially.
The what hardware?
The CD.
Oh, okay.
That's.
I think CDs still count as software.
Are they software?
Well, like it doesn't matter.
The stuff on the CD is software. The CD
Are
itself
we
is
really getting
hardware.
into semantics
It's when
here?
you said they did the hardware. I'm like,
Anyways.
does Dishonored have its own console?
We've been playing Dishonored, and guys, I'm really enjoying the game. David's been enjoying the game. We're going to talk about it real quick. If for those of you that don't know what Dishonored is, it's basically a stealth action game. I suppose that's the best way to describe it.
You don't have to stealth at all, and you don't need to. So-
You don't have to stealth at all, and you don't have to action at all. So, action at all, does that make sense?
Well, I'm like the best way to describe it would be a stealth game because like not a lot of games have a stealth mechanic built in, and this one does.
Yeah, but like, it's not really necessary.
I know, but it's built around stealth. But
Like,
also,
we'll get to that later.
But
We'll get to
also,
that
you
later.
can shoot people.
I think somebody told me the best way, I heard the best way to describe this game is a stealth game where you can go in guns blazing, or it's a first-person shooter where you don't have to kill anyone. So that's, I think, a good way to describe this game.
You can approach it two different ways, which is
Yeah.
excellent.
So it follows the story of Corvo. Basically, he's like the Empress's protector, royal protector, and he comes back from a long journey away, and the Empress gets murdered. He gets framed, and he's broken out then from prison.
Wait, can I just interrupt right there? Okay, so first off, he's the Empress's royal protector. So starting off, he's away, not protecting her, and then when he does come back, she dies. He's not a very good protector.
He's
at all.
not very good at
He's
it.
a bit of a
Because
jinx.
He's either not there or she's dead. Anyway,
But anyways, he gets framed for a murder, and then he gets broken out of prison by these guys who are sort of loyal to her, even though she's dead. So they want to put her heir on the throne, and it's sort of all about how he gets his revenge on the people who killed the Empress and imprisoned him for 6 months. So it's a really cool game. We're talking about the visuals real quick and the sound.
you probably should say that it's like set in a whale punk universe. I think is the way.
Well, it is steampunk, like a Victorian
but it's
steampunk.
whale oil, isn't it? So
Yeah,
it's
but,
whale punk.
Yeah, but it really tones down the whole steampunk aspect, which is something a lot of steampunk games don't do.
It looks a lot like Victorian England would.
Oh yeah, it looks great. Like they barely play the steampunk thing into it
Yeah,
at all.
because usually it's just like a game. It's like, oh, we're steampunk, and that's like
Yeah,
that's it.
literally, like, the cup will be made out of
like,
cogwheels.
Like you
everything.
Could, like by looking at it, you could tell it's steampunk, but it's very subtle,
Yeah, it's good.
and it's not in your face all the time. Basically the world runs on whale oil instead of regular coal or oil or whatever, and like you see like these huge whaling ships coming in with like whales hanging off them and bits coming off. It's brilliant.
So it's set in Japan.
It's set in the city of Dunwall, a fictional place. The map is fictional completely. It's made up, and it's really cool. It looks amazing, I think. Anyway,
It's
the
kind of,
art style is really good.
the art style works. I'll say that. Like, it's not super realistic, but at the same time, it doesn't look bad.
It reminds me of Bioshock.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot like Bioshock, but the art style works really well with it. I think the graphics themselves aren't towards the end of the console's life cycle. I think they're not too shabby. I think they're actually pretty good. On PC, I think it probably looks amazing. Or
Yeah, it does. It does look pretty good. Like, it looks on the standard of. It looks like the standard of the Source engine. Probably the best thing to describe it to. But also Bioshock. It kind of has that feel to it, in terms of visuals.
yeah, and like, people don't talk about this a lot, but like the sound in the background of the whole thing, like whenever you're sneaking or fighting or whatever, there's always a music going on in the background, and the music sort of reflects what you're doing perfectly and does it really well. I think anyway. What do you think?
Yeah, it's good. I like the music, but I especially love the sounds of things. Like even the pistol, it's just got such a loud bang. It really feels like you're actually firing a significant
Yeah.
weapon. Most pistols are just like a light pew. Like in Half-Life, that was the case. Like it felt like you were firing absolutely nothing. But in this, it's a full-on bang. It's like you're firing a cannon.
Yeah, and like there's one part I remember. I was hiding from someone, and I saw this guard walk up, and he started scratching his face, and you could hear the noise that his stubble made when he scratched it.
That's pretty cool.
You know, like that. Can you guys hear that?
Nice, nice.
So I thought like putting something so small into the game, I think that attention of detail I appreciate.
You should put that on your CV. It's like if anyone's ever looking for a Stubble audio, you should put yourself out there. You could be in Dishonored too. Credit guards Stubble. Marseille.
The voice acting is actually pretty good as well in this game. You meet some really interesting characters, and they're all played pretty well. Even though sometimes I think the script gets a bit melodramatic, but like the actors do, a really good job with it.
Some of the characters are good. Like I think the two best the second best character in that game is Granny Rags. She's basically like this old woman, and she's got like this whole little kind of sub story going on. She's a pretty cool character, but the best character in that game, stupidly enough, was the talking heart. You could basically point a heart at something, and it would like tell you a little about whatever character you were pointing it at, and it was
and a little bit about the environment. And it was very creepy, but it was very cool.
Yeah, well, it was kind of more the voice that made it creepy rather than the actual what it was saying about things.
Yeah, exactly. It was very well done. So we're gonna move on now from.
Wait, what's the main character like? What's Corvo like?
He's another Gordon Freeman, absolute mute.
Okay.
I think the only interaction you have like that isn't completely railroaded is just 2 or 3 dialogue options, and that's with Emily, the Empress's daughter, who is like 11 years old. Those are the only 2 main dialogue options you have, and there's
a few dialogue options here and there. They're sprinkled.
They don't have much effect though. I think there's one that has an effect. That's about it. Whether or not you want to like kill them or just kidnap them, I think there's kind of one thing like that. That's about it though.
Yeah, but like a lot of them don't really have any effect. But whatever, you put it in there. That's cool. Now this game has some very cool gameplay mechanics behind it, and you can play this game 2 ways really. You can do like a lethal playthrough like I did, where basically I went in and I killed a lot of people, or you could do a non-lethal playthrough where David went in, he was really stealthy, creeping around the place,
Didn't kill anyone.
Didn't kill anyone. So we're going to go over David's walkthrough first, and then we're going to talk about mine.
Okay. Well, first off the bat, you could play this game and basically not kill anyone. A lot of it just involved kidnapping people or just maybe making it back through the level, which is quite difficult because you were also trying to go for the achievement of like not getting spotted at all. So that was kind of difficult.
I think we should just talk about the magic involvement in the game.
Oh, yeah. Well, basically what you can do in this... the main kind of abilities that I was using anyway was one called Blink, which is basically you pick where you want to go and you kind of zap over there.
It's really well done. It's really cool, and it's like the first ability you're given, and it's necessary essentially.
Oh yeah, it is quite necessary, especially if you want to stealth around things. You need it essentially. The other ability that I was big into too was possessing things, because you can possess fish and rats originally, and then if you buy the upgrade for it, you can actually possess humans for a short amount of time.
You buy upgrades by collecting these runes that are scattered across the level. So like there's like 3 or 4 or maybe even 5 in every level. So you collect them, and maybe you'd buy a power would be 2 runes, but to upgrade would be 5 or 6 runes, that kind of thing. You also have bone charms, which is sort of like, they act like perks almost, I think.
Yeah, they're kind of small little bonuses here and there, like you
passive bonuses.
Yeah,
exactly.
You break glass slightly quieter, things like that.
That's a really specific.
I know there actually, but there's so many of them.
No, there's some like you can choke out a guy faster, or you get your mana back by drinking water, stuff like that.
Okay.
So it's really well done, and they're scattered throughout the levels as well. You can have 3 equipped at any given time. That's done really well as well.
There is a lot of variety when it comes to those like passive abilities.
Some RPG elements involved. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's an action game with RPG elements. Also the runes I found anyway, like what I was mainly using was double jump and blink, and these were quite game breaking. I could get around. I think towards the end of the game when I actually had both of these full upgrades, I didn't need to interact with anyone because I'd just run along the roofs. Didn't have to do anything. And by the end of it too, I was playing completely non-lethal. I had so many runes left over. I had like 12 runes that I wasn't using. I was like, I could buy these upgrades, but they're all for lethal playthroughs or people who want to kill people. I gotta leave everyone unconscious. There's nothing I can do with these. So it was kind of pointless there.
But were you finding like pretty much every rune, yeah?
No, I started off like that, and then I kind of drifted off and didn't bother then beyond that point. But no, there's only like maybe, I think there's about 8 abilities in total that need runes. No, more than that, about 12.
There's 8?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And then there's kind of the passive ones like extra health, higher jump, blah blah blah. But the rune spells I'd only use about 2. I only use the blink and maybe double jump, and occasionally the one that lets you see through walls.
That's like in Deus Ex when I got my jump upgrade where you can jump really high. That
I
helps you
remember
so
that.
much. 'Cause you can just jump over you can jump over people.
Yeah, that was kind of stupid in Deus Ex, but
It works here. It works.
oh yeah, it does definitely work. But there's just not enough abilities for stealthers, if you ask me. It focuses definitely on someone who was doing your type of playthrough, which is you're going to assassinate everyone, you're going to kill everyone. Because there was a lot of really good wardens for that. Maybe like a swarm of rats could devour the corpses, or you could like turn unsuspecting enemies to ash and things like that. So it was incredibly useful. Another thing, just I want to throw out there too, they put a fixed 10 bolt limit on sleep darts.
Yeah.
With regular darts, you could kind of upgrade it, but I think that's fair enough. That could kind of make it so that it's a little harder, because otherwise you'll just run through an entire level sleep darting everyone.
Yeah.
So that sort of makes sense. There was actually a load of ways to get places. Like, you know, you could kind of
Yeah.
go in through the sewers by using a fish, or you could kind of possess a rat to go through like the air ducts and things like that. So that was pretty cool.
Or you can like do what you just said, you know, run along the roofs and all that.
Yeah, there were very big levels. There was lots of exploring to do.
Yeah, I like that in Deus Ex again. Like the way if you needed to get into a building, there was usually 2 or 3 ways to get
Well, in Deus Ex, there was the front door heavily guarded, or there was an air vent.
in. Sometimes you can go in underground as well.
There was always an air vent, at least at some
Oh
point.
yeah, there was always an air vent.
There's not nearly as many air vents in this. A lot of this is just kind of sneaking around guards.
And if there are events, you have to like possess a rat to get into them, you know.
Yeah, that is.
So you can't just like crouch like in other games and
Like
just-
some are pretty big, but like most of them, you'd have to possess something.
Oh yeah, but like I was trying to go through the entire game without killing anyone, getting detected, or them finding any unconscious bodies. I was hitting quick save with the speed of a pneumatic drill and quick load about the same time. There was just, it was just sometimes they kind of put you in situations where you needed to get caught to realize the whole kind of system of what they were actually doing and the pathing they were actually taking to actually get around them. There was a huge amount of variety between levels as well. Like, you know, you're kind of in this upscale whorehouse. You're in like these fortresses. You're in like a church and that type of thing, and it was really cool. Well, I was playing the game on low chaos, so like I didn't have a lot of, because the game basically got more decrepit the more people you actually killed. So I had killed no one. So, you know, it was still kind of nice and pleasant Victorian time. But I'd imagine for you, Omar, with high chaos, there was a lot of rats running around. There was a lot more of those zombie things running around as well.
Yeah. My playthrough was I did a lethal playthrough. I went in hoping to be stealthy, and if it didn't work out, I would just slaughter.
In other words,
everyone.
you didn't have the patience for a stealth playthrough.
Essentially. But I got a few quibbles with the game, but I think overall it's a very good game. A few quibbles. One, when you're fighting one-on-one, it's fine, right? But the moment you start, like, there's more than, let's say, 3 enemies, it gets really difficult to fight properly. Do you know what I mean? Because like they kind of surround you, so if you block, you still get attacked from the back and stuff like that. Also, earlier on in the game, it's way too easy to parry. Because like you can see, like they'll wind up like a hit and they'll be like, "I'm attacking you now. I'm gonna attack you."
So they telegraph the move for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's like, "I'm gonna attack you. Wait for it. Wait, okay, 1, 2, 3. Here I come." You know, that kind of thing. And it's just like, okay, I can parry this easily. Oh, okay, it gets a bit tougher as, you know, the game goes on. But that was just, it was really easy to kill people early in the game.
But they do actually throw in those overseers. They had actual face masks, so you can deal damage to the face, essentially.
Yeah, you couldn't crossbolt them or shoot them in the face. Which is pretty cool.
Which is my favorite place to shoot. But one thing I found with the swordplay, you kind of knock them off foot, and then you just take out your pistol and just fire at them. That was probably the best way of dealing with combat.
The best way to deal with combat was literally take out your pistol, shoot, and if they get knocked back or fall, then, you know, stick them through then. And it was simple, but it worked. But like the combat in itself isn't a lot of. I wouldn't say it's not a lot of fun. It's good, but it could have been better. You know.
I didn't have too much experience with the combat. I was really enjoying, because when you sneak around, you'd like turn a corner and there'd be 2 guards talking, and it'd basically need them to finish their dialogue list before they actually started moving off on their patrol paths.
Yeah.
And some of the conversations were good. Like
Yeah, some very interesting conversations. I ran into a guy and he was talking about how, you know, he's talking about why this guy needs healthy test subjects instead of like sick ones. And he's like, oh no, that's because by the time they're sick, they're almost dead anyway. It's like, what? And like, it's really cool tidbits you hear every now and then, you know, if you listen to conversations and stuff like that. And you also get like side missions and extra pointers on your own mission when you sort of listen into some conversations, which I think is really cool.
Well, a lot of the time, like I was talking earlier about that thing with Granny Rags, that was completely hidden. Unless you like went over to her house and were exploring the entire area, you would have never found her. There was nothing ever saying, oh, you know, there's a woman around here that you should talk to. There was nothing like that. You had to find her, which was really cool.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Sounds interesting.
This game doesn't lead you by the nose like a lot of modern games do. They sort of grab you by the nose and take you down a corridor and you shoot stuff, whatever. This game, like a lot of games say like you can play with it however you want, but this game actually delivers on that promise. It's the first game in a long time that does deliver on that promise. Because I remember like I had this qualm with Metal Gear Solid 4. It was like, oh, you can play like an action game if you want, but like you can't really, you know. So it's a very open game, and I think this is a game for. It sounds a bit silly, but it's a game for gamers. Do you know what I mean? It's a game for the hardcore gamer, for someone who likes getting 100% completion, who likes, you know, doing things the hard way every now and then for the fun, for the challenge. Sure, you know, I don't think casual gamers might enjoy this game as much as a hardcore gamer might.
They'd probably...
Well, they could just kill everyone.
I have no doubt they will enjoy it. They will enjoy the game, but probably not as much as a hardcore gamer who would probably, you know, sneak around, you know, do a drop assassination here, you know, sleep dart there, that type of thing.
That's one thing. Like, you can run through the game in maybe 6-7 hours. Like, it took me about 13 to, like, no, or a bit less than that, but it took me around that much, over like the 11-hour mark to actually finish it, and that was me going stealth. So I could play again and go this time completely lethal and murder absolutely everyone in the city. And, you know, so it's got great replayability there. So, like, you're talking at least maybe 20 hours minimum.
And I want to talk about the different ways you can play this game. Like, the amount of change it does to the game is surprising. Because, like, during my lethal playthrough, like, this guard like, I got into a fight with the guard, and he was like, you killed my friend. I was like, oh, all right, sorry about that. Then I proceeded to stab him in the face. But, like, then, like, I was doing my non-lethal playthrough, and, like, all the guards were, you know, they weren't as angry. It sounds
but
a bit
they were still as willing to kill you, weren't they?
Oh yeah, of course. It's their job.
But they were just a bit sorry about it.
Yeah. Also, like, they weren't, you know, calling me as bad names as they were before.
Were they hurting your feelings?
Yeah, they were calling me very bad
names. Were the
names.
scripted events hurting your feelings, Amar?
They hurt your feelings, and then you stabbed
also,
them in the
there's
face.
a lot more, like, weepers, which are, like, these plague victims that have become...
They're zombies, Amar.
They're essentially zombies.
They're zombies.
There's more rats if you do a lethal playthrough, because obviously more rats, more bodies, more filthy, so on and so forth.
Well, for those who haven't played it, rats basically just run around and they attack you in like a swarm, and they can deal a lot of damage.
Yeah, they'll kill you if they catch you, you know, in a corner.
Yeah, they're mainly down side streets, so really the only time you need to worry about them is if you're kind of going a back route into a place.
Yeah.
But usually if you're going the back route, you're playing a stealth route, in which case you've killed no one. If you're doing it right, in which case there'll be no rats.
There will be some rats, but not as many, obviously.
I only encountered maybe 5 packs of rats in that entire playthrough.
Oh.
Because I kept very high and I never killed anyone.
Yeah.
But when I did come across rats, like, since I was playing completely non-lethal, I had grenades and I had these explosive darts still on me. So I was like, okay, bye-bye, crowd of rats. I'll just explode you.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now, doing my non-lethal playthrough. But also, like, there's, like, this kid that's doing a drawing, you know? And if you do a lethal playthrough, she's a drawing of, like, you with a bloody knife, you know? And if you don't do a lethal playthrough, if you're like if you're really nice to everyone and stuff like that, she does a drawing of like you and you're like, you know, you're like hanging out with her and stuff like that. And I think that's really cool as well.
Oh, that is cool.
Like the kid, you know, sees what's going on and sort of takes it in and reacts in different ways, you know. So, what overall opinion of this game, David?
I do have some problems with the fact that it doesn't really cater a whole lot to stealth people, but I understand that in one way, because if they cater too much to stealth people,
it becomes too easy.
It would be way too easy. So no, I really do like this game. I would recommend it, especially for the replayability. Definitely don't. This isn't a game you want to rush through. You want to like, okay, there's my primary objective. Go, 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 go. You really want to look through the entire level to like kind of find everything. Because even then, there's like hidden quests, there's hidden like items and little kind of things like that, and it's great. Like if you're gonna rush through it, you're not going to enjoy this game nearly as much as if you explore everything.
Yeah, exactly. And I concur 100% with David. I think it's a great game. I think it's one of those games that people are going to look back on, 5 years from now and go like, that game was really innovative. Like we think about Assassin's Creed now, because that was an innovative game when it first came out.
Yeah, like this is fun now for a stealth game, but Hitman's going to come out at the end of this year, and then we're all going to forget about it because Hitman is amazing.
Yeah, but Hitman isn't steampunk and stuff.
Yeah,
I know, but Hitman is Hitman.
No, but it's a different developer though, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's a completely different type of game. But like, if you compare like Dishonored to Deus Ex, where you could both do essentially the same thing, Dishonored blows it out of the water.
It's insane. So guys, I give it a 8.59 out of 10.
We don't do scores on this show.
I say go buy it.
Yeah.
Go buy it now. It's a really good game, and you're definitely gonna have fun with it.
I give it a 7 out of 10 just to annoy Johnny.
But you also say go buy.
Oh yeah, definitely. I would highly recommend this game. The only reason it's scoring a bit low is because on normal difficulty, this is incredibly easy.
Really?
You'd really want to play this on hard or expert to actually get any bit of challenge out of this. Like I say, I was quick saving a lot, but that's because, I could have ran through the entire level. Like even then I was playing through a level again, just to kind of get the feel for it. And I just ran through it. Like minutes only. Like whereas before it took me maybe an hour to get through, I was done it in like 10-15 minutes.
So guys, we're going to get a real quick break. We're going to play Hailstorm, Don't Know How to Stop for you. And when we're back, we're going to talk about the news and what's been happening to Lionhead. So enjoy guys, we'll be back real quick. You're listening to The Learning Screen on UC 98.3 FM. UC 98.3 FM, the place to get all your gaming news, reviews and more. I'm Omar Sohail. David's here with me and so is Johnny.
I like that song.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay. In case you guys didn't hear the first time around, that was Hailstorm with
Don't Know How to Stop.
Don't Know How to Stop.
Well done. Okay, I'm going to do news now if that's okay with you.
That sounds good.
Okay. First things first. A little game called Halo 4 that got leaked all over the place. I think like some people stole copies and then they ripped files or something and then they just printed out loads of discs and now people have it. People have been playing it online and people have posted like every cutscene and the endings and everything all over the internet. So watch out for that if you're looking forward to that game. I think that's kind of funny though, because like that game isn't coming out for 3 weeks.
I know, and that game's worth an awful lot of money.
Yeah.
It's more than 3 weeks, isn't it?
Nah, November 6th or something. It's whatever day the election is in America.
Yeah, it's November 6th, I think.
Yeah. Poor election.
No one's going to turn up to vote.
Anyway, some news about EA living up to their title of worst company in America, which, David, I don't know if you knew this, they won that award last year. Or was it? It was earlier this year.
It was earlier this year.
Yeah, they won the award for worst company in America.
I would entirely believe that.
Yeah. So when the PlayStation Vita came out, there was a game, I'm pretty sure it was a launch title. It was called FIFA Football, which is a redundant title, but whatever. It was like they called it that, so it was separate from, FIFA 11 or whatever. Yeah, which was, FIFA 12 would have been out at the time. Because they wanted to make sure people knew this is a different game. And that was fine. But when I was in GameStop like a week ago, I think, I went in there and I saw that on the Vita there was FIFA Football and there was also FIFA 13. I'm like, wait, there's another FIFA game already? You right there?
I'm pretty sick in case you haven't heard.
Okay.
Well, I haven't been able to catch on, but my pale complexion and coughing and sneezing
Suck
and whatnot.
it up. Alright, anyway. So it turns out I was right to be skeptical because it turns out that FIFA 13 on the Vita is literally the same game as FIFA Football, but with like slightly changed menus and updated kits. But other than that, it's the same game for twice the price because it's new, quotation marks. And also FIFA 13, if you're the kind of person who buys FIFA on the Wii, FIFA 13 on Wii is the same as FIFA 12 on Wii.
What's the point of getting FIFA on the Wii? You're making the motion to hit a ball. Why not just do it in real life with a real one?
You probably just use the classic controller or whatever. But anyway, bottom line, if you're going to buy FIFA 13 on the Vita or the Wii, don't. Because EA are just cheating you. I don't even know how this is legal. But, you know, EA, whatever. News about The Last of Us, which is a game that looks amazing. Which is coming out sometime next year. One of the two characters, Ellie, she's getting a...
Sorry.
She's getting a comic book published by Dark Horse Comics, I believe. Yeah, and it's going to be like a prequel to the game.
It's going to be a prequel to the game.
Give her some backstory and stuff like that.
Yeah, and
which
it's
is pretty cool.
It's going to be it's actually going to be a series of comics. It's going to be a 4 comic series, I think.
Okay.
Last I checked. So
yeah, it's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I had a way to get them, I probably would.
I can probably get them in other realms or whatever.
Yeah, maybe. News about BioShock Infinite. The developer Irrational Games, they've recently lost. Well, they haven't lost. They left. The combat designer and the AI lead, they both left recently, and that's following on from in August when the art director and the director of product development left. So it's kind of looking a bit more obvious why that game's got delayed.
Yeah, it just keeps getting pushed back and back and back.
Well, it only got pushed back once, but it got pushed back a long way.
Yeah.
And now we kind of know why, because people are leaving for whatever reason. And also there's the elusive BioShock on Vita, which we still have heard nothing about since E3 last year, when...
did they announce it, or did they just say they
well,
wanted to do
Ken Levine was up there talking about BioShock Infinite, which won like Game of the Show from everyone. And then he's like, oh yeah, by the way, yeah, we were looking for a place to put a BioShock game, and I think we found it. And he takes a Vita out of his pocket, and everyone's like, oh my god, and then we haven't heard anything about it. Which is kind of like, segue, Final Fantasy X HD, which was announced a year ago, and then it's nothing, because, you know, Square Enix with their following through on projects.
It's
like
just it's
Final Fantasy Versus 13.
Oh.
But anyway, yeah, apparently it's not dead. It's still getting worked on by probably one guy.
His
like,
one poor overworked poor soul.
he's probably like still touching up the logo or something like that. Yeah, so if you're looking forward to that one, don't hold your breath. Yesterday, PlayStation Plus is getting a beta for PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, which I played the different closed beta, and it was ridiculously fun. This one's going to have 2 stages and 6 characters. It's going to have Kratos, Fat Princess, Parappa the Rapper, Colonel Raddick, Sweet Tooth, and Sly Cooper. And I'm going to play that when I get home, because I just downloaded it earlier. What?
No Drake?
No, it's the original 6 characters. And 2 stages. You get the Hades / Patapon stage and the Metropolis / Hydra stage.
Oh, yeah.
They were both in the other beta as well. But I'd say if you're PlayStation Plus, definitely download that. It's only about 1.5 gigs.
A gig? That's a big beta.
It's not really.
Considering a beta is generally the entire game.
That's true.
It's just restricted.
News about the Wii U Pro controller, the one that looks exactly like an Xbox 360 controller, but the face buttons and the D-pad
are switched, yeah.
Yeah, the analog sticks are at the top.
Yeah,
and the Facebook and the face buttons and the D-pad are at the bottom, which looks weird, and apparently is weird to play. That's going to have 80 hours of battery life from one charge, which is a lot. And it says here that the PS3 and the 360 controllers get about 20 to 30 hours.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because my PS3 controller is pretty old, but mine doesn't get that much at all. Like, I had to recharge it, I think on Saturday, and then yesterday when I beat God of War, I had to recharge it again.
I think I get like 15 hours out of mine.
That's not too bad. My last bit of news is that Lightbox Studios, the guys who made Starhawk, which is really cool, but no...
Sorry, I'm sick.
Well, move your mouth away from the mic. You're going to ruin it for everyone else. They made Starhawk, which is really fun, really cool, actual different game, not generic third-person shooter. They are going to lay off 24 people, either I think this Friday or next Friday, which sucks. And then I think they're going to start making mobile games, because that's what everyone does when no one buys their games.
I hate mobile gaming.
Yeah. But no one buys good games. People are buying games wrong.
Yeah, it's like Sleeping Dogs, great game, nobody bothered.
Oh yeah, actually, I never said that. Amara loaned that to me after last week. I beat it. It's a good game. It's not a great game. It's a good game.
It's a very good game.
It's not very good. It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
I probably liked it a bit more than I liked Skyrim. which isn't that much.
That's all I have to say about that.
Good contribution, David. No, I mean, I'm glad I didn't buy it. I'm glad I only borrowed it off you. I'd probably pay about 10 or 4.
Oh, yeah, you wouldn't buy it full price, would you?
No, not at all. I mean, it was fun and stuff, and it had a cool story, but I don't know, it just didn't get me.
Well, I paid full price for it, and I don't regret it, to be honest. I think it was a very good
Yeah,
game.
but you paid €90 for Mass Effect 3 and you don't regret that.
That was worth every cent.
Really, was it? Anyway, David, you can do your news now.
Yeah.
Okay, onward from people sacking people. Lionhead have actually sacked 10% of their employees.
Which is how many people?
I'm not sure. It's 10% of their employees, so it's quite a large
It'd
chunk.
be funny if it was a fraction.
Oh no, but like Lionhead, if you don't know, they're
pretty big.
they're behind like Fable 3 anyway, and Fable 2.
The Fable series, essentially.
Yeah, the biggest. Well, I've never played them. The only thing I really know them for and love them for is Black and White, the original one. That game was a lot of fun. But anyway, basically this has happened because Fable: The Journey flopped completely.
Which is not a surprise because it got horrible reviews.
It didn't get horrible reviews. It got mediocre reviews.
Well, critics didn't like it at all.
No, it's got like a Metascore of about 50 something.
Yeah, it still flopped.
I know, yeah. I'm not saying like it didn't sell. I'm not saying it sold well. I'm just saying the reviews were mixed. I mean, apparently it's like when the Kinect works, it's a good game. When the Kinect doesn't work, it's not a good game.
Yeah, but
so I think it's more of Microsoft's fault than anybody else's.
Yeah, seriously, like who asked for a Kinect Fable game? Did
I don't know.
anyone ask for that?
well, on the bright side of that, Microsoft are actually working to find the sacked employees of Lionhead different jobs. So
That's fair enough. Yeah.
you know, that's a good thing to do.
Well, Microsoft owns Lionhead these days. Isn't
Yeah, I know.
it?
They're a subsidiary. XCOM, but there's some reviews out about that. A lot of people are saying that it's buggy but fun. So there is some
I've
bugs.
heard nothing but good things about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a bit buggy. There's no overlooking that, and there's supposed to be a massive amount of gameplay too. Like certain players are up to 40 hours. So like that's a very, very big game.
And it's got multiplayer as well.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like I paid the same amount as I did for Dishonored than I would have for XCOM, and XCOM by the looks of it would have given me at least 4 times the gameplay hours. So if you're looking for value for money, I'd say definitely get XCOM.
Well, it's a bit of a niche. Like it's a very hardcore turn-based strategy.
oh,
Yeah.
it's very
Apparently,
difficult.
it's very difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, especially if you're doing it where you don't get the option to go back a save. You play it you get saved when it tells you to save. You don't get to choose that at all. So that's kind of a big thing. Next in PC news, anyway, is Star Wars: The Old Republic has gone free to play.
Oh, is it
Not yet.
officially? Oh, okay.
Later in autumn, apparently. This
And they said the difference.
yeah, there's restrictions. There's
Yeah.
the full story is still free, which is really the only reason to play Star Wars, because the PvP is garbage, the end game is garbage, but the story is actually brilliant. It is probably the most fun I've had leveling up in an MMO ever.
Wow.
Because there's constant dialogue options. It's definitely worth it.
I think it's got the record for like most recorded, like most lines of audio.
Oh yeah, but like there's dialogue options for everything. There's none of that. There's like maybe 1 or 2 every now and then in Guild Wars 2. There was none in World of Warcraft, but this is like
In World of Warcraft, you don't talk to people.
You don't even read the quest. You just hit accept. You have instant quest text on. You accept it, and then they're like, okay, what do I need to kill now?
I remember like whenever I'd see someone who didn't have instant quest text, I'd be like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, it's like you're hardly reading this. Also, if you want to play more than 3 battlegrounds, rewards from flashpoints revive more than 5 times, like there and then. You're actually going to have to pay for this by
And
a certain amount
there's
of credits.
inventory restrictions as well, isn't there?
There is inventory restrictions. Sometimes.
Standard stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, standard stuff, but the main thing is now they're actually basically gone full-blown pay-to-win. You can buy these credits and they can just transfer right over to real gear. So pay-to-win, your worst fears have been realized. That's what happens with every free-to-play game. It happens, ladies and gentlemen.
Not with every free to play game.
Pretty much. Like in a free-to-play MMO. It's pretty much guaranteed to happen.
No, well, oh no, wait, no, okay.
Yeah.
The thing I was thinking of isn't free to play.
Okay. Okay, this is another thing. 2 Arma 3, which is ultra-realistic shooter game. Developers were actually arrested in Greece on the act of spying.
Wow.
Ivan Bukata and Martin Peslar. And if they're actually properly convicted, it's 20 years in prison
Wow.
for spying.
This is
Spying on what?
I don't know exactly.
They were taking pictures of a military bunker for their game,
Oh, right.
and
Oh, that's a bit silly now, isn't it?
yeah, but like apparently it was abandoned, but like it was abandoned, inverted commas.
Okay. Wow.
Next thing up, anyway, Mech Warrior, the kind of mech suit game. The open beta for that has been delayed indefinitely. It was supposed to be out this week, but it's been delayed indefinitely, so we might never actually see the open beta for Mech Warrior, which makes me sad because that game looked amazing.
I just want to chime in really quickly. Something else that got delayed. We were supposed to have a complete redesign of the PlayStation Store that was supposed to go live yesterday.
Yeah.
And it's not, as far as I know. I tried it again this morning and it's still the old store. The new store looks really cool, by the way.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of disappointed we don't get that.
Hopefully we'll have it by next week.
Speaking of stores, actually, Valve Greenlight, which is
the best thing ever.
Yeah, you vote for games to go on Steam, and hey, then Steam will sell them. They've greenlighted 21 games, including Octodad, which looks... I've seen... you should see gameplay of this. There's one brilliant YouTuber, OMFG Cata, Jesse Cox, who does... Definitely watch his playthrough of Octodad.
Stop plugging other people.
Well, considering this
They're
guy...
not our competitors. Okay?
Yeah, considering this guy has like maybe 200,000 YouTube subscribers, I think he's a bit above our league.
We have listeners.
He's going to get the loading screen bump now. he's going to find a
noticeable
increase.
He'll be 1.2 million tomorrow morning. Yeah. The Skyrim Dragonborn DLC. People have actually looked through the source code and they've actually found Morrowind quest markers and dragon riding in the source code.
Hold on, this DLC hasn't officially been announced, by the way, guys.
Oh yeah, it's just patch 1.8.
I thought there was already a mod that let you ride dragons.
There's a mod, but this is actually full on coming into the game. So like it almost sounds like they're kind of fusing Morrowind and Skyrim.
And also you'll be able to wield spells on your dragon.
Yeah, which does sound very cool.
And like a lot of them, I've heard like a lot of the Morrowind landmarks are already in Skyrim. They're just really off in the distance.
You can notice them if you go to the edge of the map.
Yeah, but like this is interesting. It could turn into something really cool, or it could turn into absolutely nothing at all. Because you never know what Bethesda.
One thing's for sure: it will never come out on PS3.
Well, even then, like if it's in the source code, it's either they're going to release an official patch for this, or it's going to get hacked. Those are the two. Two options here.
Yeah.
Moving on from that. Someone actually got to level 90 in World of Warcraft, getting absolutely no kills.
I heard about that.
That is just plain old ridiculous. Those are thousands of hand-ins. I don't even know what... there's no achievement for that even. I don't know what compelled this person to do this.
They were really bored.
Like, this is the power of unemployment, folks. You will do things like this.
I wonder how many gameplay hours that is.
A billion.
I don't know actually.
Billions with the B.
Because it almost sounds like this guy only started doing this when Mists of Pandaria came out.
That can't be true. Unless he's literally been playing non-stop. Or unless it's like not one person, it's a group of people.
Oh, it's probably a group of people or even like different characters helping him out. But still, it's still absolutely ridiculous. It's like taking pacifism to a whole new level.
This is one of those things that happens a lot of the time in games where you go, that's really cool, but also really depressing.
Another thing that's really depressing too, Guild Wars 2, apparently everyone is rolling humans. No one's rolling the other races. Like
why?
The majority are humans.
Are humans just better?
No, there's no difference at all. And I don't even understand it because you're going to play a fantasy game and now it's like, oh, I'm going to roll a human.
And also, there's like freaking bison leopard things in this game. Why would you not want to play the bison leopard thing?
I really don't know. Also, Metro Last Light, which I've been really looking forward to. I love Metro 2033, except it was incredibly short. It was only like 6-7 hours long, but it was an excellent game. But Metro Last Light, they basically moved away from multiplayer. They're no longer going to have multiplayer on launch, which is something they promised, and all the staff from multiplayer have now been moved to single player.
They'll probably release it for free later on.
There's a possibility of multiplayer post-release, but nothing's confirmed about that yet. And finally, just a bit of a rumor, Valve are creating a game set in space. I really hope it's Gordon
There've
Freeman
been some
space.
screenshots here and there.
Really? I haven't seen them at all.
Just like those screenshots for Half-Life 3, which we've seen maybe 3 years ago. Get on it, Gabe Newell.
And also, apparently, it's going to be called Stars of Barathrum. It took me a second to read that because Johnny scribbled all over it. But yeah, you're going to play a privateer and you're going to be like, looting stuff and commanding star vessels and whatnot. So that's pretty cool.
It's Valve, so you're going to buy it. You're going to buy it.
Probably.
If it's on console, I'll buy it. Because I'm the only one here who owns only a console. So.
Well, you do own a laptop. It's just